Hi, my name is James Gallagher, and this is the introduction to the Insight podcast. I thought I'd firstly come on and just kind of introduce myself and explain who I am and what the show is actually going to be about. So why have I started the podcast? Now, conducting interviews is something I've been doing for coming up to a year now, and it's something that really brings me joy. I really enjoy speaking to new people and learning about new things, but also learning about experiences that people may have had that can either save me the trip or it makes you feel a little bit more comfortable when you realise that other people have been through the exact same things that you're going through in your early stages of your career and life now. So that's one of the main reasons I've started this podcast. I thought as well, when I talk to certain people and learn new things, it's lovely when I think if someone watches the interview and can gain something from it as much as I'm gaining from actually interviewing the person, that I'd say is the main goal of this podcast. I'd say this podcast is going to really allow me to, shed light on people who maybe not are in the limelight as much and who still have a story to tell. I think that is something that I think is really important, to shed light on people who may not always be getting recognition for the heroic and really important things that they do within the community, but also speaking to people who are industry professionals and who have achieved a lot of success, however you may define that, within their lives, and just sharing stories. I think that's the main thing for me. I think navigating life is as tough as it is anyway. I think listening to these podcasts that really shed light on the nitty gritty and the things that we all go through evidently in life, I think it's really important for this podcast to showcase that. As mentioned before, obviously interviewing is a big passion of mine, and I think following that passion is something that is really going to bring me joy, and hopefully that kind of translates across the camera to the viewers. I think that is something that's going to be really impactful for the podcast, the fact that I really enjoy it, that's the biggest reason why I kind of want to pursue this. Why the Insight? I mean, the name in itself is pretty obvious and self-explanatory, but the insight is in terms of delving deep into people's lives, but also delving deep into what makes them tick and the specific things that they needed throughout their life to get where they are today, or the advice that they'd give to, I suppose, the younger selves. So that is the main reason why I've called it the Insight. It is pretty self-explanatory. I also think it's a household name. I think the word insight, I think we use it and plug it quite a lot, whatever topic we may be talking about. So it's something I've always heard. So I thought, it sounds like a good name for a podcast, and hopefully it can stick. Each episode's kind of going to look the same. It's going to be obviously conducted in an interview format, whether that be virtual or in person. They're going to start with lasting around an hour. I think that's a nice amount of time for the time being. If it ever goes longer than that, then if you like watching Joe Rogan style podcasts where they're like 2-3 hours long, then obviously that's something for you. But yeah, they could go longer. I'd say about an hour to an hour and a half at the moment. That's probably what they're going to look like. And posting schedule, this is going to be going out on a Wednesday. This episode, as well as the first official episode of The Insight, which is when I interviewed Gerard Noose in December of 2023. So that's going to be going out on a Wednesday. So that is probably going to be the day that I use. I think it's a nice time, isn't it? Wednesday. It's midway through the week. Everyone's finally woken up from the weekend, so they've got time to really focus on what is going to be talking about in each episode. Thank you all for watching this first little snippet of what The Insight is going to be about, and an introduction to myself, and go and watch the new recent episode of The Insight. I will link it somewhere here. Keep learning, keep growing, and I'll see you all in the next episode. Bye-bye.